Hey, what's up, everybody? Chris Souders, Slunger Cat Outdoors, back with you again this afternoon. And man, am I excited about getting this started. So, to get started with, if you are new to this channel, I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. Tackle Talk Tuesday is a live kind of Q&A show that I do every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, if you, like I said, if you're new to the channel and this is your first time joining, I want to thank you guys. Make sure that you're leaving comments in the leaving your questions in the comments so that we can get to them on future shows and give you guys as much information to give you guys as best opportunity to catch more and bigger fish next time you're out. That's what it's all about: sharing information, getting results, and seeing success and hearing success stories. And I want to thank everybody that has been sending their success stories to me, pictures, emails, Facebook Messenger, all that. Absolutely amazing. I love to hear that positive feedback in the industry, and it warms my heart. So thank you all for doing that, and keep it up. You know, that's why I do this. It's for you guys to learn, and also, you know, see those results. So keep that up. So thank everybody for joining tonight. Get started with, last week I told you guys I would get some times and dates for the Columbus Fishing Expo, when I was going to be doing seminars, things like that. So if you're planning on attending the Columbus Fishing Expo, which is February 8th and 9th, well, it's actually 8th, 9th, and 10th, but I will be there 8th and 9th. I'll be there all day. The Extreme Bait Systems, bait tanks will have a booth there. Not sure exactly what booth it is. You just have to kind of roam around, and it's a big place, but you'll be able to find us. You might be able to look on ColumbusFishingExpo.com and get the information for that. But I will be doing seminars both days, 3 p.m. Stage C. Okay, so remember that. 3 p.m. Friday and Saturday, Stage C. But I will be at the Extreme Bait Tanks booth, and because I had such a high question of whether I would have hats and shirts and decals and all that good stuff merchandise wise for people to buy, they're going to be there at the bait tank booth. So stop by, talk catfishing with me, and Mark Blavelt will be there. Check the tanks out. If you like one, you can take one home then and pick you up some Slunger Cat merchandise. So I want to see everybody there. Next thing is the Catfish Conference. I wanted to make sure that I told you guys the dates for it's February 22nd through the 24th, Kentucky Expo Center, Louisville, Kentucky. Make sure you're there. Also, for everybody that asked questions, somebody brought something up to my attention in the chat, and I want to try it. If you have a question, a direct question to tonight's topic, which I think we have an overwhelming want to learn about bait, so I can't do it all in one episode. It's going to be many episodes, but I'm going to try to tackle it each little bit as we go along, and specific to that time frame for you guys to kind of help you guys pinpoint how and where to catch bait. But anyway, in the comments, somebody told me that if you guys write at Chris Souders and then the question, it will highlight it for me, and I will be able to see it pop up. You know, I got the laptop right here. I'll be able to see it pop up. So if you can, do that. Try it. Let's see if it works. And also, for you guys that like what I'm putting out, the material I'm doing, you like all the information you're getting, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Let me know that you're liking it. Let me know that it's working for you and you guys want to continue this. So I'm going to do it until there's nobody left that wants to listen to me ramble on. So, all right, to get started, now, we have had a whole lot of people, and everybody knows shad is by far my favorite bait, my go-to bait, my absolute favorite bait, and this has been a high topic. So that's what we're going to get at. Now, like I said earlier, this is going to be mainly concentrated for this time of year. And So we're going to start with Gizzard Shad right now, where I'm catching it, how I'm catching it, and any other questions about it that we have for this time frame, this year, right now. And as we move forward to the spring, I'll continue to do that, and then we'll get into the time of year where you definitely have to have a good tank keeping them things alive and things like that. So to start with, I even drew. Who knew I was an artist, right? We got the Ohio River, and that's what we're going to kind of talk about mainly, but you can use these techniques and these areas all throughout the country, not just the Ohio River, but the Tennessee River, Mississippi River. I've used this same aspect and with great results, no matter where I'm at in the country. So, we're going to go through it, give you guys all the information, and we're going to get you guys on some shad. I've had people say they're catching small shad, they can't find shad, they don't know how to look for shad. We're going to cover as much as we can tonight, 30 minutes, all about shad. So get your notebooks out, get your pencils out, we're going after it, okay? Ohio River. Now, it is polluted with gizzard shad. It has threadfin shad in it as well, but my main shad is gizzard shad. It's to me, they're bigger, they bleed better, they're oilier, and they're just, I have better success, especially with them alive and cut. So that's what we're pertaining to. But if you like threadfin shad, you can catch them. They're, like I said, they're not nearly as big, they're not nearly as oily or bloody, in my opinion. Okay. So let me find pointer. So the Ohio River, and you can kind of see how I got it drawn down. You got curves and everything. And what we're going to be talking about a little bit tonight, we're going to break it down. We're going to talk about small rivers, backwaters that come into the Ohio River, feeder creeks, marinas with feeder creeks in them as well. And so to start with, we're going to start with small rivers, okay? Now, when we talk about small rivers, those shad like to go up into the calmer water and slacker water during the winter time. Okay. Now, two things that they want or look for in wintertime are calm water and warmer water, and it doesn't have to be a dramatic change. Okay, it doesn't have to be a power plant or a steam plant to draw them. A good warm day, 30, 40, 50 degree warm day, bright sun will warm up a big flat, and they will draw up in that flat just for that maybe 1-2 degrees, maybe a degree and a half. Okay, so it doesn't take much of a temperature to get them up in there where they need to be. So small rivers. Now, when we talk about small rivers, and the way I want to approach this is, if the Ohio River or the main river, and we'll just say main river, is got a lot of current in it, but your small rivers are not nearly as much current. Okay, everything is calmed down in the small river, but the main river is still flowing good. They're going to start, they're going to come up in to that small river, and at the front of it there might be a deep hole, that drops down pretty deep. That's going to give them protection whenever they want to go to deeper water. Maybe a big cold snap comes in or something like that, and they want to go back down to that deeper water on that mud ledge, or just outside of that, where they can come up into that shallow water but go back out into the deep water when they need to be. So we got that hole out there that we're talking about, and then you got the main channel. As you can see, these little dots. Okay, and as it comes around this curve, it's gonna, anytime this river floods, you're gonna have a washout there. Okay, it's gonna be a deeper hole. So a lot of times, this time of year, let's say this river runs 15 to 20 foot deep. Right here in this hole, it gets a little bit deeper. Okay, and let's say this is 30 foot deep right here. those shad will school up all throughout that whole area. Okay, and this 30 foot is not very big. This is a very small area, and I'm kind of the 30 foot depth is over exaggeration. I'm going to say that more than likely this is going to be 10 foot on the main and maybe 20 foot here where this bigger curve, real sharp curve is. Okay, so those shad will school up in that deeper water right there, and they may be on the bottom, they may be halfway in the water column, or depending on low light conditions, they might be closer to the top. But that is a good area this time of year to find them. Now, what makes it even better is if you can find an area with that, but off that small river is maybe a backwater off that small one, and that backwater may be only 2-3 foot deep. Okay, those shad will go up in there. Now they're going to be a little bit harder to catch up in the is no to little current. If you get a big flood, big washout, and there's a bunch of current in here, obviously either those fish are going to go back out here and hold right there in that hole, in a calmer area, or if this river floods out, they'll go up into the brush or outside of the banks if they can, or they'll go into these little backwaters. But they're always, they're going to go somewhere where the water current is less and slowed down. Now, if you guys have any questions, like I said, pertaining to this particular thing, please, make sure that you get down to specifics on, what drawing, what way you have a question, so I can really pinpoint, what you're asking. Excuse me. Next, backwaters. Okay, this is and I hope you guys are enjoying my drawings. I mean, I'm pretty proud of them. But anyway, we got backwaters. Now, something to remember about backwaters are they were created, the rivers were created, flooded with dams and things. So a backwater is probably going to be something that was two little valleys that come in, or like a field that was flooded that might have been a little bit deeper, or oh, we got a visitor and she wants a hug. Come here. Oh, I can't say no. Love you. Go back in and eat cookies.
I'm already done.
Well, play again, please. Close the door, please. Okay. So, back to backwaters. Okay, so like I was saying, the backwaters are going to be something that was flooded when the river was flooded. It may not be deep. More than likely, they're going to be shallower. I'm going to say 5 to max 10 foot. They're going to have a lot of trash, a lot of old trees that fell down that was left in there, a lot of snags. So you want to be careful throwing nets in these places. Okay, these are good places to go in and graph and find those little areas that maybe there's a big line of brush over here, but just outside of it, it breaks down into an old creek. As you can see, I got these little dots, like maybe an old creek, and that creek may just be a foot deeper than the rest of it. But you got trees. Let's say you got trees out here, and you got this creek that comes through, and you'll be able to throw right along the edge of those trees, and not take a chance on, getting snagged up as much. These nets that we use are, $100 to $150 a pop, and one tree can completely destroy a good net. So backwaters this time of year are a great area. Those shad are going to go up in there, especially when we get heavy or moderate current in the river. They're going to congest in these areas. A lot of these are mud, and those shad really like going into those areas that are mud, have some protection from these snags, and also maybe have just a foot or two little deeper little channel areas that they can kind of go down and hunker down if they need to or want to. Okay. Now, these are good areas, and you can find. Let's go back here. I just seen something pop up, and I don't know exactly who it was. Yes, Jason Huggins. He mentioned side scan. You know, side scan is a great tool to use in places like like this that I'm showing you, and you'll be able to see them schooled up, and they'll just look like a white cloud, or real big shad will actually look like small little tiny arches on your side scan. So go in, you can side, these are good places to side scan. And like this, like I was saying, go in, check it out, see where you can throw and where you can't throw. You don't want to go in there blind and just start throwing everywhere and end up hanging a net, okay? So take a look at it. This is something that is a learning curve, a learning process for everybody in their own specific areas. Not everything that I'm telling you here is going to absolutely work.
How do you make animals?
Huh?
How do you make animals when they polyglot?
Or paint with a paintbrush.
How do you?
Give me 1 minute. Be right back.
Daddy, I know you to tell you something.
All right. Sorry about that. Mommy is at parent teacher conference tonight, so we're doing this with a little helper, and I love her to pieces. So back to this. Like I was saying, make sure you go in, you check things out. You don't want to go throw them blind and lose $100 net. So, and check them out. Those shad will like to hang in specific areas within these areas that I'm showing you. They will want to hang, maybe one corner of it in the center, one little drop. They will always try to hang certain areas, and you'll be able to go back there repetitively throughout the same time frame and catch them in the same areas. So, backwaters. Now, next. We're talking about marinas. This is probably my, favorite area to catch bait. Marinas always have good structure for shad to hide out in: boat ramps, boat docks. Normally there's there might be a bridge in area, an old creek that comes into it. You'll have shallower water, deeper water, where a lot of times they'll dredge marinas out to make for room for boats coming in, getting gas, things like that. So marinas are one of my favorite places to go and try to catch good shad all year round. Okay. Something else you want to look for in these marinas are along the banks. A lot of times they will place little riprap rock. Okay, maybe around the boat ramp area or around the boat docks area, they will place riprap. Okay, that gives the shad another place to go spawn in the summer times. But this time of year, it's got algae, gives them stuff to eat, and gives them another place to go hide. Okay, some good things with marinas, like this one that I have drawn up here, for instance. It's got a creek that runs through it. Is going to give it, a little bit harder bottom for them shad to lay on. Sometimes they'll like a hard bottom. So the old creek channels will sometimes give good hard bottoms. The boat ramps will warm up, maybe just, like I said, maybe a degree or two warmer. So they will be drawn to that area because that water will be just a little bit warmer. The boat ramp or the boat docks that you have here, like I said before, gives them a place to go up underneath and hide from, from everything. They don't have to necessarily get into the structure, like a treetop or, mud or something like that, but gives them a good place to hide. And, whenever I approach a marina like this, for instance, if I have some way, I will go through and, like, say, throw on this bank over through here where the old creek channel or something might have been. And if I'm not catching nothing, I'll move over into the boat ramp areas. And one thing is for sure, if you're not catching them here, go somewhere else within that area until you finally find them. Now, with that, you may go out there, you may try these tips and stuff that I'm sharing 2 or 3 times, going out there trying to catch the bait and think, man, I can't catch it. You just got to keep trying and go at it until you find those little areas. Okay, for instance, I know certain places, certain marinas I go, they may only hold in one boat dock. Okay, for some reason. Why? I don't know. But for some reason, these other boat docks won't hold a single shad. But you throw in one specific boat dock and you'll load the net. So that is just experience. There's nothing saying, why. Obviously, there is a reason why, but I for one, cannot, figure that out. So, but I know that they like to hold there, so I will repetitively go back to that same boat ramp or boat dock and catch them over and over and over. Okay. So now these areas, marinas and backwaters, when the river gets high, these things will normally get stacked with bait. Once again, you can go through here and look for them on side scan. Something one tip that I will give you guys, and I want to stress, you can go through and find them on side scan, but it's hard to get back directly on top of them. Okay, you got to remember we're in a 16, 18, 20 foot boat. We see them behind us. As we go, we just went over them. We see them behind us. It's hard to get right back on that school when it's moving. Something that I do a lot, and that I would highly stress to anybody that's watching this, is do it during low light hours, nighttime, morning, late evening, first thing in the morning right before it gets daylight, and look for little rings. Okay, and when I say rings, it'll look like little, just just little rings, where they, small little ones about the size, about quarter 50-cent piece size, where they're coming up popping the top of the water. That is shad. You see that, you want to get ready, you want to get your net ready, you want to be ready whenever you get to it, and once you get to it, you want to throw, and as you throw, you throw on those shad. You actually want the boat to kind of go past it as it's sinking down, so that whenever you pull, you're pulling at an angle. If you're pulling straight up, you're not going to get a good close on your net. If you're pulling at an angle, that net's going to come back and get a better close, and your percentage of keeping more bait in that net at once is high. A lot better, especially more so than pulling it straight up. When you pull it straight up, you're pulling that net up off the bottom, and it lets bait get out from underneath of it. So if you kind of go past it and give a good angle on it, you're going to have a better success rate, catching things, especially in shallow water. Now, with that being said, you also take a higher chance of getting snagged up. So positive, negative to that. So let's see here. Next is we're just going to talk about creeks, okay, and small feeder creeks coming in, like the rivers. If we get a hard rain, I don't care how many times you've caught shad in that creek. If we get a lot of rain and all of a sudden that water comes flooding out through there, you're not going to be able to catch them in there like you did before. Okay, so small creeks off of the rivers are good places to catch them. In those little bends, deeper waters at the mouth of them, right there where it comes out and it drops off, and that little bit of deeper water is good area. But once again, if that water's flooding out, those bait fish are going to be either right up against the bank tight, where you're not going to be able to catch them anyway because of all the snags and trash, or they're going to get pushed out into the mouth of that somewhere where there's a little bit of slack water or maybe an eddy, where they can kind of rest and not get washed down the river. Okay. Okay. So if you guys, once again, if you guys have any specific questions to what we're doing this evening, we're talking this is specific shad tips just for this time of year, kind of where I'm catching them. Shad is my go-to bait. So if you have any specific questions, we're going to try something new this tonight. Make sure you put at Chris Souders and the specific question so that it will highlight it on my laptop and I'll be able to see it. Okay. Now, one of the specific questions I got was, I can find shad, but they are all small, 3-inch shad. Okay, so this is a pretty easy thing to talk about. When we're talking about nets, the main thing I want to talk about with this is the mesh size. Okay, and whenever I say mesh size, it is the side to side measurement of your squares in your mesh. Okay, if you are catching 3-inch shad, I would just about bet that there's big shad in that same exact area. They are going to be underneath of those small shad. And you can look, whenever you're looking on your side scan and you're looking on your 2D, you can tell the difference between a big school of, say, 8 to 10-inch cutter size gizzard shad versus a 3 to 5-inch school of gizzard shad. In the beginning of this, I was talking about you would see little arches, okay? And that's exactly what they would be. The school would not be just like a big red blob, more so. You might see some arches in there, and that's going to let you know that those are bigger baits. If you see just like little specks, look like a misty cloud, on your sonars, you'll be able to tell what your colors are. For instance, Lowrance, a light bluish color. If I see a cloud of that, I know that is small shad, baby shad. Once it gets red and maybe starts getting some yellow and I start seeing them arches, I know that those are the shad that I'm after. Those are the bigger shad that I want to try to catch. Okay. When we talk about mesh size of nets, and let you all know, I'm going to do a cast net video and give you guys my go-to nets, the ones I like, and how I throw them. I want it to warm up a little bit. It's mighty cold here, and as you can see, we're in a house doing the night show. But so when it warms up, the weather breaks a little bit, I get out and I'm going to do that for you guys. But I want to make sure it's a good video so you guys can take advantage of that. But anyway, mesh size. If you're catching small baits, that means your mesh size is too small. Okay, I want those baits to be able to swim through the mesh size so that I don't have to fool with them. You can pick through your bait size and what you want by choosing your net. Okay, now the downfall with that is you need to be careful on the net sizes that you use, because if you're in, say, 5-inch shad and you got a 1/2-inch mesh net, those shad are going to get gilled. Okay, so you're going to pull that net up and you're going to have a net full of gilled gizzard shad that you can't use. They're going to be dead by the time you pick them all out of the net, and it's going to be worthless. Okay, so certain times of the year I will use different size nets, and specifically this time of year I want big shad. I'm blue cat fishing. I want cutters. I want those things to bleed, so I want shad that are going to be 8 to 12 or bigger, big as I can get them. So I'm going to use a net that is 1 inch, mesh size, okay, 1 inch. Maybe 3/4, but like I said before, I want those smaller ones to be able to escape, leaving me with just the big ones. I may not catch as many. It may take me longer to catch my bait, but I'm able to catch the right bait that I want, the specific bait that I want, okay, just by having a net specific to what I want to catch. Another thing that I want to talk about, I hear a lot of people talk about size of nets, weight to use, how much weight to use. So me, I throw a net a lot in Kentucky water, so I can throw a bigger net. I use a 10-foot net whenever I'm in Kentucky waters. I use whatever I can legally use in other areas like Ohio. I can only use a 5-foot net, which goes out to 10-foot radius. Okay, and so make sure you're doing specific to what your state laws are, because they will catch you and they will fine you, and those kind of fines stick with you forever. So don't make that mistake. Go by the law and make sure you're doing things right. But what I wanted to say was, for instance, if I'm going to try to catch bait out of this deeper hole right here, it's wintertime. I want a net that's going to sink faster and get down to those baits that I want. So I'm going to use a 1-inch mesh net, and I want it to be about 1.25 pounds in weight. Now, you get too heavy, that net will, instead of falling at a flatter rate, it will cone up real hard. Okay, so you're going to lose the diameter of that net because you got too much weight. And ultimately, if you don't need that weight, having that much more weight is just going to wear you out that much quicker. Okay, so try to match the net size to your laws, your abilities, and kind of what you're going to be trying to catch your bait out of. And I know a lot of this is a lot of information to take in all at once, but the good thing is it's on video and you guys can go back and watch it over and over. But anyway, so that's the kind of net that I'm going to use for that. Now, in a backwater where it's not as deep, we're only talking 2 to 8 foot deep, I don't need that net to go down super fast. I'm still going to throw a 10-foot net where I can, 5 foot, whatever it may be. But whenever I throw it, I don't need it to sink super fast because it ain't going that deep. So I can get away with a lighter net, which means it's going to be easier for me to throw. I can throw it faster, get it loaded faster, get it emptied faster, and it's not going to wear me out. Okay, so I'm going to cut that side. Maybe a net like that, I may bring it down to 1 pound, 3/4 pound to 1 pound per foot. And what that is just the weight around the bottom of the net. Okay. Another thing I want to stress to you guys is use real lead on your nets. Buy nets that have real lead. That makes a huge difference on how well it sinks. Even though it says it's 3/4 pound or 1 pound, if it's not true lead, it will not sink nearly as fast, and you won't get the performance out of it that you need. So, backwaters, marinas, we're gonna, take it down in weight size, but still throw the same size net. So, all right, we have been at this for a little over 30 minutes. and that is a lot of information all at once. And it's not even, it's just scratching the surface of catching shad and what I want to teach you guys about catching shad and how to catch them. And as we move forward, you know, those shad are going to be in different areas, and you're going to be able to catch them in different areas in different ways. Mainly going to be with a throw net, but there's some different ways that I want to show you guys how to catch gizzard shad moving forward in the future. So hopefully, wherever you're from, whether it be the Tennessee River, you know, the Cumberland, Kentucky, Ohio, wherever it may be, you'll be able to take these tips and tricks and information, go out, get you guys some fresh bait. That's going to make a world of difference on how successful you are, because the number one thing on my list, no matter where I'm at, is fresh bait. But anyway, once again, if you guys are new to the channel and you guys are liking what we're doing, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, hit the notification bell. We do live shows every Tuesday. Tackle Talk Tuesday. I've been trying to get out a viewer video Friday. So if you guys have information or video ideas that you want to have, you know, more information to give you guys a better opportunity to catch more fish, get those in the comments. Hit that thumbs up if you like what we're doing, if you like what I'm sharing, and make sure you come back here next Tuesday for another round of Tackle Talk, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks for watching.